Greetings, everyone. Today on IC Tales, we have two wonderful co creators of the Eternal Epics, Miss Soumya and Miss Madhura. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi. Thank you.
So, I would love to start about your venture or your Instagram page straight up. The Eternal Epics, the wonderful idea that it is, how did it come into being?
So that's a very funny start to just give a little background on how we both met. We've been friends for some 8 years now.
Yeah,
8 years.
we were together in college
together.
graduation, so we
Huh.
know each other since then. And yeah, so like the ancient Indian stories is something that we both of us were always interested
Interested in talking
and
with each other about
so
it.
as friends, whenever we used to
Yeah.
meet, we used to talk about acha ye story. Do you know this? Do you know that? That was something that we
We used to
always
talk.
loved sharing and telling each other. And
But then at the same time you have your life to go on, so we both were in different jobs. I obviously was a designer at an advertising field, considering the fact that I'm in art, and she's a marketing person, so she's been with doing marketing for the past 7 years same. So after 7 years of working, I had literally got frustrated with the advertising culture, so I wanted a break. I thought, let's take a break and rethink on what I want to do. When I took a break, I thought, why not try and get my hands on character design? So I used to just, for fun's sake, I used to create characters. And like she said, we both have been always fond of mythology, or you see Hindu stories, Hindu scriptures. So I thought, why not start off with a character called as Narada, and see if I can build a story on it. And I texted her and all my friends together. We are a group of 12,
so
11 to
that
11
was
people.
actually very funny. I'll tell you what, because she had just left her job, and then like she said that she wanted to try her hand at character designing
Character
and stuff like that. And then on a common WhatsApp group of our friends, she just messaged one day, and this was last year during the second lockdown.
During the
Okay?
second lockdown.
She was like, "Acha, this is what I'm doing. Can someone help me with captions for Instagram?" So then I was like, I was sitting at home, lockdown tha, so work from home was going on. I was like, ha, I'll do it. Chal, let's. I was like, okay, side by side, we can do something interesting on that. It began as ki sirf captions I need to give it to her. But then as we started talking,
we started realizing that
this has so much more potential. Like,
Yes.
why we just doing like illustration and like a caption or something? Like, we should try to incorporate the stories that are also there.
Because once we started reading more and more, जब बचपन में पढ़ते थे, it was more about दादी माँ ने स्टोरी बोला, सुन लिया, खत्म हुआ. We used to just share those stories. But now when we started going in depth in the storyline, we realized that our culture is really rich, like the Hindu culture. And if you see and try to put them in today's scenario, like even if it day-to-day habits, day-to-day stuff that we do, be it a King Rama or maybe an Arjuna in Mahabharata, the way they took ahead their lives. And it gives a lot of learnings for us कि हमें कैसा lead कर सकते हो life. It's not like that, not telling that you should do it, but it's a learning. Like it's like saying, when we look at our ancestors, they do certain things in a certain way. We look at them as our as leaders. We look up to them. We follow on their footsteps. These characters are also similar lines पे ना हमारे ancestors ही हुए. Because
and like to add to that point, this is such a rich culture, but the sad part is people do not know about it. And the irony of the situation is that like today, each one of, or a lot of us sitting in India, for example, we know a Zeus, we know a Poseidon, we know the hundreds of other from the Greek pantheon, we know them. But it's just sad that very few of us know who are the gods or the characters from our own culture, and it's not because it's these gods are, or these stories are any less entertaining or engaging. It's just that there's no awareness only. Because there's so many tons of stories, there's so many different scriptures that are there. It's just that we don't know Sanskrit, so we don't read, we don't know. So then this was like, with the Greek stories, it's there out there in the media. There are so many movies,
exactly.
There's so many stories,
Exactly.
There's so many
like
books.
You will always have a Ramanand Sagar ka Ramayana, या Sanjay Khan ka Mahabharat. That is all you know. There is so much more to it. It's not only a Mahabharat and a Ramayana. So that is something we wanted to put across. If you, like, you have gone through our page also, we've tried to cover stories. Even in a Ramayana and Mahabharata, there are a lot of stories which people are not aware about. So those things, which is what we wanted to capture. And to be very frank, we were so happy with the feedback that we got, the way people reacted to our stories. We were really happy and thrilled, which actually motivated us to go ahead.
Which actually gave us that perspective that it's not that people are not interested. It's just that there's a lack of available material out there that people can read. Because when we started putting it out, people were reading it, people were getting engaged.
See, there are mediums, Sanskrit mein hai, English mein, but not everybody is open enough to see it. ये कैसे easily मिल रहा है, social media जाओ, मिल रहा है, पढ़ने को मिल रहा है. It's not like I need to buy an Upanishad or a Veda or something to sit and read. So that gap is what we wanted to try and cater to, which we managed to with our page. So that is how Eternal Epics came into existence.
It is so accurate. Even I have to say it off the records, not just to please you or anything, but it is so damn accurate what you right now said, because I have an exactly same perspective towards Indian history. In fact, I have such a strong opinion that if anyone calls Indian history as a myth or mythology, I get kind of offended at that, because Mahabharata, Ramayana, these are stories which happened in real. But it's just that people are not ready to accept it, especially the youth, unfortunately. But I hope people like you come out and bring a change.
It seems extraordinary कि अरे वो उड़ता था या अरे how is that even possible?
But there are scientific
proofs.
When you see the Avengers चलता है ना.
So that kind of, but still people are now open to accepting it, listening to it, enjoying the stories. Like we've got comments saying we are looking forward to the next story that is coming up. So that gives us a motivation ki chal, people are there. Like they want to know more. There are difference of opinions, because considering our Hindu culture, there are so many versions of everything, which is quite wonderful to think of. There is not one book that we follow, right? We have so many books. So it is more fun to read and gain knowledge, spread the knowledge.
One same story has so many different detellings and so many different versions. It will amaze you that the same story में इतना different तुमको variation मिलेगा, but all are equally interesting.
That's all.
Okay, now moving on to the second question, and I'm telling you, I'm loving this conversation already. Okay, since childhood, were both of you into Bharatiya culture and its texts, or was there some point in time where you thought that no, this is something we need to really work on, and then slowly Eternal Epics came into being?
So for me, it is from Bachpan, because I am from an Iyer family. So हमारे यहाँ पे, so I am used to my grandma telling me stories. Though we were 5 cousins together, I was the one who used to be most interested in listening to them. My other cousins used to learn, सुन के छोड़ देते, but I used to take it ahead with me, because we had like that is how we grew together later. कि हमें और interest आने लगा to listening these stories, sharing these across. So I can say that it's from my bachpan. She can share her.
So for me, it was not like like very opposite to her, in fact. But I am someone who loves to read. So I've always liked to read about different kind of stories, and this was one source which I found was never ending, and it always intrigued me, the kind of different things that are available. The different kind of stories that are there. So it's just reading on my own which got me here. And then of course, like when we became friends, we used to discuss stories, and she used to tell me so many different stories that she had heard from her tati, or I used to tell her, acha, you know, this which I read in this book, it's like that. So that's how it kind of developed. And then this initiative was very out of the blue, like you already told you, it was very and not planned in a way,
and God's grace, it's been going smoothly, organically. We've been very happy about that. That is what gives you the motivation to grow more, right? That's what.
Sure. Okay, since the inception of the Eternal Epics, is there any kind of a big unexpected challenge that you had to face till date?
Unexpected silence.
Challenge. Anything, friends, family, family won't be there. Family won't be opposing you.
A lot of time, because we started on July 3rd is the day. Last year.
Okay.
July 3rd it's been what,
7 months.
7 months. That's it. 7 months since we started this together. So ऐसा कुछ challenge आया नहीं. But yeah, let's see ahead कुछ आता है तो.
So are you braced for? Are you expecting something कि ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है? मतलब on the
So
negative side.
different negative negative front. One is
Wow.
that people, it's a little sensitive topic also,
Yeah,
because
because it's
sometimes because maybe something that I and she, we might
be
not
aware of
feel
it.
it's offensive, but maybe once it's there, somebody can take offense to it, because religion in India, as you know, it's very a touchy topic.
Yeah,
So we have to be a little careful.
with-
Like you said, the word mythology. Now that's, everybody has a different perspective to
Yeah,
that word.
like our
Some people are okay, but some people are very how can you call it
How
mythology,
can you call it
because it's
mythology?
actually history and it's not mythology. So things like that.
Yeah,
so we
like
so we
using
have
the
to be
word
very-
Lord, because Lord is a very English term. It doesn't suit a Hindi, matlab our cultural audience. It is more
It's
Bhagwan
yeah.
for us. So those things, those learnings we've got a lot. There are people coming and telling us कि ये वो पुराना में नहीं है, ये पुराना में नहीं है, which we respectfully agree, because every Purana, every version has a different story. That's where we came to you from that point of view कि हमें इतना कुछ पता चला है कि every story has every version, every what you say Purana has a different version to it. It's how you take and portray it ahead. So that was a challenge, because you're never used to telling ye galat hai. That is something which we had got a lot of times, and we are learning in the process. Some which we also agree ki chalo ye ho gaya hai, we learn from it and we correct ourselves later, because it's something so wide and so big, you can't always say ki yahi sahi hai. That is something which we are learning in the
because
process.
it's as simple as all 10 fingers of your hand are not the same. Right, like there are 10 texts jisme same story is given. Now for example, you might want to believe like this is the correct text. Someone else believes in some other scripture or text, but then all of them are written by someone or the other, right? And all of them are versions of it. So you have to be in a way try to cover maximum, so that's like thoda challenging, like balancing act is a bit challenging, but it's interesting also, like it's like in a positive way.
Like
also,
the best experience that both our parents have been very proud of is we've started reading Hindu calendars now. Like that was a very pleasant change in us, which we never did pehle, right? हमारा usual calendar रहता है, अभी Hindu calendar देखने का भी थोड़ा सीख मिल रहा है. So that's a welcome change that we are getting, we are accepting, we are inculcating. So good.
That's wonderful. The last point especially, that's wonderful. Okay. Now coming on to your friends, how did they react when you came up with the eternal epics? Because not everyone, especially the youth, is interested in Indian history. Sorry, Indian history and their stories. So how did your friends react to it? Were they like,
So
"ये क्या
we
कर
have
रहे हो यार?"
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, because our group is a
they've been
very
very encouraging.
Yeah, they've been very encouraging about it, because we have a widespread matlab Hindu culture spread in our group. It also we have a South Indian, we have a Maharashtrian, Gujarati, सब है भर भर के. तो and सबका यही था, there are some people who are like us, they are similar to us, and some people are not aware of the stories. So every time when they look, they actually look forward to, अरे ये इतना जल्दी जल्दी डाल रहे हो, पढ़ने को टाइम तो दो हमें. That kind of feedback also we've got. So we were actually very happy कि चलो सब पढ़ रहे.
People are reading.
That was the biggest thing for us.
When we actually the kind of comments and all also that we used to get on the pages, not just like friends is still, it could be because they are your friends, so
they're liking
they'll be
your
supportive and be encouraging, but like other youth from like people on Instagram, we know there's a certain kind of age group that's there on Instagram. You wouldn't really find very old people. So we know that this is the kind of age group and who are commenting things like, this is nice. I never knew about this story. So that's what tells us that people are reading it.
And it's same applicable to our friends also. Like so many things that we've got to know from our friends also. कि उन लोगों को भी लोग बोलते हैं, and they are also gaining knowledge, and they say कि ये वाला अच्छा था, ये वाला पता ही नहीं था हमें. So that kind of feedback is what. So that's what it's been encouraging in all directions. So we are happy.
Awesome. Okay, so if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who was trying to make a mark in the field of art, be it via social media or anything, what would it be? Just one piece of advice.
At least in the last 5-6 months that I have learned art-wise is कि you need to be different there. You can't have something that is done by somebody else. If you are able, maybe it's the story that we are sharing. It's what pictorically I'm showing different. That is something that attracts a person, is something that we have together learned.
It's always you have to break through the clutter,
Ha.
because on social media today there are tons of things and everybody is doing everything. So how do you stand out? You have to have a USP which is unique, obviously. So that's
way,
what she's
exactly
coming from.
So that is where we could cater that market, which is helping us
what
grow.
we've also like seen is people do gods, people do gods ka illustrations and all, but
सब करते
we
हैं.
are bringing to the table stories to the people which is not very readily available,
And
so people are consuming
easy
it
to
also.
read, basically easy to read for people, ताकि एक फ्रेम में अगर मुझे पूरा स्टोरी मिल रहा है तो why not, right?
Yeah, it's like you are
That
anyway
kind,
scrolling so many hours a day on Instagram, might as well read this one more thing and like add to your knowledge about
and
it.
it's in a cute form, it's in a cartoon version, so people appreciate it. It's light heart, मतलब पढ़ने के लिए इतना heavy नहीं लगता कि
That's
बाबा
why we've
इतना
like
पढ़ना है नहीं.
when we write it also we try to make it as that one post may you cover the story, and one post the language also very easy words. It's never, if you see, it's not very difficult. Any like normal people can read and understand. It's never very heavy duty words ki arey what does this mean, like it's never like that. It's always we want maximum people to read it. That's why it's easier and simpler words. That's how.
So that's what breaking the clutter is what it is.
Yeah.
For the social media that we've learned in the past 6 months.
Awesome. So the next one, okay, this is one of my favorite questions from the interview. The youth of today isn't much inclined towards our culture and their stories. They're unfortunately much more inclined towards the Western and the so-called modern culture. So what is your message for them? What do they need to do in order to get back to the roots and then go on from there? Because if we look back at our stories, ancient Bharat was probably even more advanced than we are today.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, what is your one message for the youth of
Yeah,
today,
exactly.
that we do not need to lean towards the Western side, but we have a lot of our own which we need to look at?
So very much what you said is what we would be repeating, because this is something that we've
We
also
can give you
gathered.
examples कि ये भी हुआ था, ये भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है. Why do you need to look outside?
Like you have a Takshashila, you have grammarians from here, you have Panini, and everybody from here who are originated in our own country.
And who were at that point of time were well known across the globe.
Yes.
For their knowledge and for their expertise.
And like it's always says, no, if you try you will get any kind of content you want. Like अगर थोड़ी कोशिश कर लो तो हर लाइब्रेरी में जो आपको चाहिए कल्चर में मिलने को रेडी है. Just that you might have to take that step. So we are helping you all out and sharing small versions of it in the form that is easy for you to read. But yeah, like अगर आप MCU, मतलब I'm not targeting MCU or anything, but if you have that Avenger whole thing, because that is again, superhero feels. So these are our kind of superheroes, right? In a way. So if you like to watch that, give a shot at this. There's no harm, because again, this is also interesting, right? Give it a shot and see. It might just hit a different chord for you. That is what
the problem, like
Sorry, ma'am, your voice isn't clear. There's some net.
Hello. Can you hear?
You are still, yeah, now it's good. It's good. Yeah, better.
Okay, so what I've realized or we've realized is it's not that after starting this page, especially, and the kind of comments and reaction that we've got, is these people are not really dissing the Indian culture as such. It's just that they do not have the awareness only. All of these things are available. It's lack of awareness which is the problem. Like I said, a movie on the Greek gods, or a movie on like any other, on even Jesus, for example, the entire story of Jesus Christ, right? It's or Noah's Ark. All of this is easily available, and this our stories people don't know. That's the problem. Like Noah's Ark, for example, there's an exact same story called Manu and his boat, and which is the exact story of the Noah's
Avatar, basically.
The Matsya Avatar of Vishnu. It's the exact same story, but people don't know about it. There is an entire movie on Noah's Ark. People have seen that movie. People know it, but यहाँ पे नहीं पता है. So that the awareness is the problem, and when people know it, people surely
Like,
because a Ramayana and a Mahabharata, which was made like in the 80s, in lockdown when they re-showed it, it worked, right? People saw it
yeah,
with as much enthusiasm, because I
enthusiasm.
know people around me
And
were watching it. So it's not
one
like
more
people are
thing,
averse to it.
like one more thing to add to her is, yeah, one audience is there who is not aware, and one more audience who are aware but they don't have a platform to talk, like which we realized recently. Ek story dalenge, there are so many people commenting their versions, which is very interesting for us, that people are actually talking about our culture, they're sharing their thoughts. So it's not like people don't want to like, they don't like, or they don't want to talk about it, they are even aware of it. They might be more aware than us, than we
Yeah.
are. And when they share in their ideas, it's more interesting to see that maybe it's giving them a platform to talk more, which we are more happy about. Maybe there are more platforms available out there, we were not aware, but this we are providing is something that we are very glad about. This is acting as a platform for people to share their stories, so why not?
Got it. Now, one thing which I feel that the lack of awareness, why that is happening is because the big names in the industry, be it the music industry, be it the film industry, they're not taking enough steps to promote Bharati culture. That is one major loophole in our society, that they're not taking enough steps to, generate or create that awareness so that youth becomes attracted to it. But hopefully we can do something about it in the near future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything has
Coming on.
time, no
Sorry.
हो जाएगा.
Sorry.
Everything has time, हो जाएगा, अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा करके पिकअप हो रहा है तो हो ही जाएगा.
होना चाहिए hopefully. So any more future plans for the Eternal Epics, or is it
Oh,
just
there are a lot of future
Lots,
plans.
lots and lots.
Lots of future plans, because we've been planning to do more books, more
Yeah.
merchandising under
So we
our
recently, for the new year, we came up with a calendar. I don't know, you
Huh.
must have seen, if you've seen our page.
page? You would have
The
seen.
last few couple posts were about calendar. So like taking our USP ahead in the calendar, we gave 12 stories along with the calendar. It was a desk calendar. So it had illustrations. It has the story behind that
it.
illustration and the month ka calendar along with it.
So there were 24-page calendar. It was a 24
And 12
page
stories.
with 12 stories in it. So it's just not a god on the calendar, it is a story with it, which gives you little more knowledge about the god that way.
So that was one. Then we also have a book.
Yeah, we have a
Coming
book
up.
coming up, Dashavatara book for kids. So
Yeah,
we have
this month it will come out.
yes.
And many other plans like that we are working on.
Yeah.
So
Like we are hoping to close very soon.
That's awesome. I will be looking out for the book. And where can I get the calendar? Link in bio, maybe?
We are actually
Yes,
out of stock.
Oh my God. No issues, no issues.
But if we are back in stock, we'll surely tell you.
Yeah, no problem. No problems at all. So unfortunately, that had to be the end of the interview. I would not like to call it an interview. It was much more like a heart-to-heart conversation, because it is not always that you get to talk with like-minded people. And the moment I saw, I guess it was Soumya ma'am's post that was sponsored. And that is the way I came across TEE, the Eternal Epic.
Okay.
And the moment I saw the post, I knew that I had to do something to promote this. And luckily, I had IC Tales, so I used that platform to promote your page.
Nice,
Because
nice.
it is not something that, as you said, everyone knows about, and we need more and more people to know about it.
right.
Yeah.
One major thing I feel is that they associate our stories with religion, whereas they are stories for the whole mankind, like Bhagavad Gita.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
associate
Yeah.
it with Hindu religion, but it's actually for the whole mankind. Lok Samaj.
That
It's
is
like
something
those are basically like our stories are basically
like
a
don't.
guide.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is the kind of life that you can live, but it's not like you have to do this only other for you to get heaven or for you to get to this certain. It's never like that. It's like ये है ऐसा करोगे तो ऐसा होगा. If you do bad, you'll get bad consequence, like bad returns. You do good, you'll get good. But what you do with your life is your call. Like we've given you the guidelines, we're telling you the teachings. Now it's up to you how you want to live your life.
It's like, to be very simply put, we both used to feel that Hindu culture is a way of life. It's how you lead your life. It's up to you then.
Yeah.
आपको लेना है लो, नहीं लो,
Exactly.
नहीं लो. मतलब nobody is
Like the
forcing you
scriptures
for
always
it.
tell you कि this is है.
हाँ, this
अब
is
आपके ऊपर है.
and it's been tried and tested by so many people. So yeah, you can take learnings from it and go ahead and see if it works for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
talking to you.
Yeah.
Same here, ma'am. Absolute pleasure.